Biden announces his re-election bid, saying, "Battle for nation's soul isn't complete." I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to CNN Politics, and let's get right down to it, President Joe Biden formally announced his bid for re-election Tuesday, setting off a battle to convince the country of his record merits. Another 4 years in the White House, and his age won't impede his ability to govern. In a video released early Tuesday, Biden framed next year's contest as a fight against Republican extremism, implicitly arguing he needed more time to fully realize his vow to restore the nation's character. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we are in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. He said in the video, which opened with images of the January 6, 2021 insurrection and abortion rights activists protesting at the U.S. Supreme Capitol. The question we are facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer, Biden says in voice-over narration. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you too. You do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Biden's official declaration ends any lingering doubts about his intentions and begins a contest that could evolve into a rematch with his 2020 rival, former President Donald Trump. He enters the race with a significant legislative record, but low approval ratings, a conundrum his advisors have so far been unable to solve. Already the oldest president in history, he also confronts persistent questions about his age. Question Trump's age as well. And question the insurrection that occurred on January 6, 2021. The launch comes 4 years to the day Biden made his 2020 bid official. That race became a mission to restore the country's character and prevent Trump from achieving a second term. Biden's fourth and final presidential campaign will rest on similar themes, just as he did in 2020. Biden is making an appeal to the nation's ideas, particularly with the specter of Trump's return. His announcement video warns against MAGA extremists, who he says are dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they've had to defend democracy, stand up for our personal freedoms, stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights, he says, and this is our moment. But Biden's campaign will also ride on promoting the achievements made during his first 2 years of his presidency, and an argument he needs more time to finish the job. I know we can, he says. The Republican National Committee immediately rolled out an attack ad against Biden, unveiling what it called an AI-generated look into the country's possible future if Joe Biden is reelected. The dystopian video intermixes news of Biden's reelection in 2024 with Fox reports of high crime, international turmoil, rampant illegal immigration, and financial calamity. This has always been the battle cry of the Republicans. Bad news, bad news, bad news. And President Biden, you all need to hammer the fact that the Trump presidency caused nothing but MAGA problems for America. A word of warning to you Democrats. Stop being passive. Stop sitting idly on the sidelines. If Biden is going to run, get behind your candidate and fight like hell to win this election. Because if you don't, and another Trump presidency comes into existence, you all will regret the day that you didn't fight. Stop being passive Democrats. Get up and fight like men and fight like women. And where is Vice President Kamala Harris? Where is she? She should not be tucked away and brought out and paraded before black people thinking that African Americans are going to vote Biden in. Get it together. No major Democratic challenges are expected to emerge, and Biden is likely to enjoy an easy path to his party's nomination. Only two challengers are in the race: author Marianne Williamson and anti vaccine activist and environmental lawyer Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Still at 80, Biden is the nation's oldest president. Polls have consistently reflected concern about his age, even among Democrats. Most Americans, and even a majority of Democrats in recent years, have shown little enthusiasm for another Biden run. A series of upcoming challenges, from the ongoing war in Ukraine to a still uncertain economy, could provide hurdles to Biden's reelection. And now the power in Washington is divided. The GOP controlled House has largely dashed hopes for major legislative accomplishments in the 2 years ahead of the 2024 vote. The president's tenure in office so far has been marked by key triumphs for his colossal political agenda, including successfully pushing forward and compromising on a broad set of legacy making high price tag priorities with Congress that address funding for the COVID-19 pandemic, rebuilding the nation's infrastructure, bolstering domestic semiconductor chip productions, and addressing climate change. And under Biden's watch, the U.S. has attempted to undo, under Biden's watch, the U.S. has attempted to undo Trump's legacy of diplomacy operating through a nationalist lens, returning to global agreements and reinforcing partnerships with allies who have been jilted by his predecessor. But broader national challenges, sometimes outside of federal control, along with admitted administration fumbles, have also acted as a magnet for GOP criticism and contributed to low national approval ratings throughout Biden's time in office. There was a chaotic and deep withdrawal from Afghanistan, struggles on border policy, fluctuations in energy policy, missteps with long-standing allies, supply chain issues, and shortages for everyday items and essentials like COVID-19 tests, baby formula, and certain medications, ongoing legal challenges to Biden's policies implemented through executive authority like student loan forgiveness, student debt forgiveness, and investigations into his family, which have accelerated under the House GOP majority. What else are they going to do? They don't want to talk about Trump. You know why? Because it's a hot button issue. And hot button issues are what the MAGA Republicans don't want to talk about. So, if you're going to win this presidency, you better go all in, because this is going to be your last shot. In coming months, Biden is also facing pressure to negotiate with Republican lawmakers to raise the national borrowing limit to avoid catastrophic default, in a prospect that's already caused anxiety amid an uncertain economic recovery. In midterm elections last November, Biden's party was able to defy historical trends by picking up a seat in the U.S. Senate and avert a dramatic red wave in the House of Representatives. Long a self-identified centrist, Biden has mostly won over progressive Democrats through massive climate investments and steps to relieve student debt. But concerns, including from those among his party, remain over his ability to compel enough voters to stay on board for another term. Biden's first public remarks since launching the re-election bid happened at a building trade union members conference in Washington just hours after his campaign video went public. Speaking to a familiar union crowd, he reaffirms his allegiance to the key groups of supporters. I'm here because there's no better place to talk about the progress we've made together and wouldn't have made without you, Biden said, underscoring that there's more work to do. While the president did not explicitly acknowledge his re-election bid, the audience did, chanting 4 more years while Biden was speaking. The Washington Beltway event may be indicative of what's to come for the Biden re-election campaign strategy. The president's campaign launch is not expected prompt a sudden change in his day-to-day schedule as commander-in-chief, according to advisor. Instead, it has come amid a busy week of engagements, a signal of Biden's approach toward balancing his day job with the job of being a candidate. He's just going to keep doing his schedule, one Biden advisor told CNN. First Lady Joe Biden is expected to be an active campaigner for her spouse, kept to her normal schedule Tuesday and returned to teach at Northern Virginia Community College hours after the president's announcement video launched. Just like 4 years ago, I'm off to teach, and Joe's launched his re-election campaign. Let's finish the job, she tweeted. The launch and the lack of any immediate campaign rallies mirror then President Barack Obama's re-election launch. Like Obama, Biden's video announcement will set off a mad dash of fundraising and build out the re-election infrastructure Biden hopes will win him a second term, but it won't put Biden on the campaign trail in the near future. Obama held his first re-election campaign rally in May 2012, 13 months after announcing his bid for a second term. The wait for a Biden re-election rally could be just as long. And as of now, Biden's advisors said the president does not intend to hold any re-election campaign rallies until Republicans have a presumptive nominee and the general election begins in earnest. Biden does intend to leverage the power of the incumbency and the bully pulpit that comes with it. While he will forego rallies, he will continue to leverage official White House events and travel outside of Washington to tout his accomplishments, draw a stark contrast with Republicans, and get out his re-election message. And I'm not going to read any more of this lengthy article. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.